No, I just seen him yesterday, but you know, it's not as easy as it looks. I need more respect for the coaches I had over the years. It's a tough gig. It's a lot of hours. It's tough. It's grinding. And it's easier when you have the ball in your hands, and you'll find that out.
And I know Matt's the exception. One of the hard parts for him is being such a great player when you're playing, and seeing guys not live up to what you were.
You see things develop as a coach out there, and you go, "How do you miss that?" Or you always tell your guys, keep pushing, set better pace. And you can do it as a coach, but don't get through like you did with Magic or myself, telling my teammates to do.
Do you think it helps him to have such a veteran players?
Yeah, no question. I had a couple young guys, but they wouldn't have played much. But I had Chris Long, Mark Jackson, Reggie, and Rick Smith. Guys have been there, so yeah, the transition should be smooth.
Does that help with the motivation part too, when you have a bunch of older guys?
Yes,
you don't have to.
And they've been there. A lot of them's been there, so they know what they're trying to accomplish. Put together a tough squad, and just manage them well. And like you said, you got two great assistants, so it should be fine.
You guys obviously have established yourselves as top team in the East. Are you now concerned about the Nets, considering all the moves?
Well, we know Chicago's going to be there. Obviously, Brooklyn should be a lot better. But we thought Brooklyn beat us every time last year, so we're going to be stronger. We just have to get better ourselves and get a better bench and hopefully compete at a high level. I feel better. I've had some injuries, and mentally I feel better. 9 straight years. And, Donnie felt like he wanted to come back, and I didn't know if I was going to come back this year, but they continued to call and leave messages. And I spoke to both the owner and Donnie numerous times. And if you're going to do it, you better do it now, because it's not going to be easier down the road.
And just the expectations are much higher now. The finals are attainable. Yeah,
we like that. That's what we play for. We want high expectations. We want to do well, and we want to be on a level where we can compete every night.
You were on a Celtic team that had a bunch of veteran guys and kind of rode it out. Dave's chosen to make a move at a certain point. I mean, obviously, you think it's, when you look back at that Celtic team you had, do you think it was right to drag it out to the end?
I didn't hear you. I go from Jason, how to coach the Nets, to what Danny should do in Boston.
No, what you said.
Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. He's had great success. He's won a championship. I never doubt Danny Ainge. I only doubted him when he had the ball in his hands with 3 seconds to go, but not in the position he is.
I'm going to say, that's the longest I've ever heard you go without abusing him, and then you killed him.
Danny does a good job. You do get older. You can't be father time, and I'm sure things will work out.
Was that hard when you were with that Celtic group, though, and you saw, when Kevin played on the broken foot in '87, and just things kind of...
It's tough. I knew I was on my way out. Actually, I was going to leave a couple of years earlier, but Dave Gavitt talked me in the stand, and it was tough. And there's always talk about should Red trade us early, but there is some loyalty there in that organization, and he decided to keep us.
But now that you're involved with running a team, is it hard to have that sentimentality? I mean, do you want to do that, and that'd be great, but all of a sudden you think about, wait, what's best for the...
You always got to look out for the franchise. You always do.
It's hard for you as a Celtic to see Paul not finish his career there?
Well, you'd love to see it. I would love to see it. I've got a lot of respect for Paul and what he's accomplished there. Yes, I would. But who says he's not going to play another 4 years? So, tough situation.
You think those guys have a lot left based on
I think they got, it's hard for me to tell, because I know they both played more minutes than I ever played. But they've both been pretty healthy throughout their careers. They haven't had the major injuries that I had. So, I think they got plenty left. The way they'll be coached and the bench that they have, they'll pick their spots. But when time comes, they'll be there.
How would you paraphrase Paul's tweet in Boston in terms of how he ranks with some of the guys?
He's one of the better ones ever to do that.
Hey, Larry. Kevin Durant has said that you kind of talked to him and mentored him a little bit. Can you just tell me a little bit about what you're doing?
Well, I don't like to get into all that, but I do get texts from other players around the league. Actually, I get more from them than I do my own players. So I don't know if that's flattering or not, but I try to help out, just give some advice to a lot of players around the league. And if they ask my opinion, I'll give it. But last year, since I was out, I was in touch with a lot of players.
Larry, you see your team having made gains against the Heat in the year you were away from the league, and do you see that gap closing, or is there still a concern that there's sort of one team out there?
Well, the Heat's a Heat. There's only one winner. They won for the last 2 years, so everyone else is trying to catch them. We've seen a lot of changes throughout the league. A lot of the deals are not done yet, but teams are trying to load up and try to compete with the Heat. Our team did get better. We were a young team, and Lance got better, Paul George got better, and we hope to continue.
And there seemed to be sort of a lack of depth this year in the series against them, and you've made some moves already that'll be announced soon.
Do
you feel like your depth?
We'll see about the moves. We haven't nothing been signed yet, but we're trying to. No matter what happens, we have to improve our bench, and we got to do it in a way that's going to protect some leads that we had this year.
You're talking about Jason coming in as a first-time coach and yourself. Is that leap even harder for a guy that hasn't been in the NBA? Celtics got a new guy, but just is that hard in general for?
I don't know if it's harder. I mean, they're all tough. I don't know Brad Stevens personally, but I know he did a good job in Indianapolis, and the people really like him there. I'm not surprised. I knew 2 or 3 years ago he wasn't, but he had a guy sniffing around the NBA to see what was out there. So I'm not surprised by it, but I think they'll do fine. It just takes time. It takes time for everybody.
Larry?
You watch a lot of Butler games at all, Larry?
I've watched a lot of IU and Butler games. Yeah, they're on.
What did you notice from Brad, just from coaching Butler?
Well, he's very patient. You don't get too excited, and the players watch their coach and they don't get excited. They play with a demeanor that just keep pushing, everything's going to be all right. Carries over to his players, and that's what they got so far in the last few years.
Did you envision that Paul George's arc would be so quick?
Well, he told me when we drafted him he's going to be an all-star in 3 years, and he was. I don't have many players walking in my office and tell me how good they're going to be. He's one of them that did.
Larry?
Was that a sign of cockiness from him? Or
No, he's one of the nicest young men I ever seen. I've been around. I've been in this league 30 years, and he's one of the best human beings ever come through here. So it was not cocky. He was just telling me that he's going to work as hard as he possibly could to improve every year.
Larry, you recently said that you guys won't go over the tax for any reason this year. And Oklahoma City has sort of done the same thing or trying to operate the same way, even though they haven't really said it. Why is that important to teams and markets like Indiana and Oklahoma City?
Because we can't afford it. It's like buying a used car and a new car. If you got the money to buy the used one, you better get the used one. Our owners went out and done everything they could this year so we could be up close to the tax. We just can't fight the tax, and it's always going to be a disadvantage for us. I feel bad for Oklahoma. They had a great team and they had to make a trade. They were right there, but we're going to have to do the same in the future. We're always fighting an uphill battle with revenues, but that's part of who we are, and we do the best we can with what we have.
Larry, about a year ago this time, the Magic made a run at trying to hire you as their president.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
Tell me about it.
Well, Alex Martin, the CEO, he said he did. What at that time prompted you to take the year off, or was the Magic job something that did interest you?
Well, I don't want to get into that with the Pacers, but I left last year because of some injuries and some health issues. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.